Hello YouTube! Orchids in bloom in September. I always like to announce my kings and queens. Maybe not too many this month, around 11 or so, but I guess I need only two to find who is the queen of the month or who is a king. All it takes only two orchids. But okay, let's take a closer look at them. This is a mini Dendrobium. I bought it last year from Wade's Orchids. I think we all know Wade. He has his own channel on YouTube with the same name, Wade's Orchids. That little mini purple Dendrobium bloomed for me last year in October when actually I got it from him, and it had 4 pseudobulbs, 4 canes, only those 3 were blooming last year, and this one, the mother bulb, never bloomed because it was not mature enough. So this year I got 4 more canes on them, and they looks like they are growing bigger and bigger, which is always a good sign. I grow it in a bright but diffuse light and water it when it gets almost dry. Use Osmocote twice a year and still feed once in a while with a liquid fertilizer. Another one is Dendrobium Takahashi. I own that plant about a year and a half or so. Nice Dendrobium, blooms twice for me a year, and those blooms last now probably about 2 months or even longer. I got it when it had 3 canes only. This one I do not give any winter rest. I keep watering it, and it does pretty well for me. Blooms in winter and in summer. When I got it, it had those 3 canes, and that's first one. Then these 2 were blooming already for me, and now I am growing 3 more chubby, green looking healthy canes. Maybe this one will be ready to bloom next year. Next blooming plant I got, it's zygopetalum, sweet jade, sweet chenille. That plant I own since last December. One friend of mine, Tim, he got it for me from Marlowe's Orchids in New York, and I got it in December. It was almost out of bloom, and this spike opened its flowers maybe 3 weeks ago, and they were like jade green, very green, bright shade. Now they are getting older and looks almost yellowish, but I still like it because it's such a fragrant zyga. And even more, that new growth, it's blooming off, got another spike. So 2 spikes on one bulb, and both have 4 flowers. I kind of like impressed with that plant. I don't know if you can get more than 4 flowers on one zygote spike. So see, that's a nice plant. I water it pretty often. Don't let media get dry, and it gets bright, diffused light also. I have another zygote coming in spike too, but it's going to be a deeper shade and flower. Even going out of bloom, rusty looking flowers, they still look pretty. Another little one I have in bloom, that's my gift from another YouTuber, Lana. It is so cute and I can't take my eyes off it. Little cute mini Phalaenopsis. Miltasia Shilop token I got a couple weeks ago from Orchid Society meeting. I had a video about it. I got confused with it, so I did not ask the previous owner what light that Bratonia or Miltasia was getting, and I put it next to my Oncidium hybrid orchids, like to a very bright light, and guess what? Flowers got burned. They turned that burgundy, pinkish, reddish color over one day. I don't believe they're just going out of blooming. I know I burned them. That's the only right and nice looking flower is the last one or the first one. That's how shallop token supposed to look when it's not baked in the sun. But it's okay. Next year I will train it to a little bit brighter light, and maybe I can get more than 4 flowers on one spike. And maybe this bulb will throw another spike, the second one. And she's also has one bulb with getting matured. Okay, next one is also from Oncidium Alliance. That is clownish cotton candy. That Oncidium hybrid is blooming for me more than 2 months already. Yes, flowers look a little bit deeper, like a burgundy pink now. They are fading, but oh my, it is fragrant. Flowers are big, spotted. I got it from our Pittsburgh Botanical Garden when they had a sale, all their Oncidium bulbs for $5 after the orchid show was over. So those Oncidium hybrids were like mass plants surrounding like a nobile orchids, like a species. And this type were used as a background plants. So the next one is Oncidium Tsuko Margaret. This one, I'll tell you guys, it was spiking all winter and spring, and now it's blooming from those spikes all summer and beginning of the fall. So flowers are falling off a little bit, but it is so fragrant. You can smell vanilla far away from the plant. So I had it for a while, and it's not a first time bloomer for me. It's growing more bulbs. I think it's growing 3 more new growths on it, and I will expect next spring to get maybe 6 flower spikes. I know it sounds too loud, neighbors are cutting grass, but I will try to change microphone. So this is Phalaenopsis delantii. This guy is a first time bloomer. I got it from Seattle Orchids, I think in spring. So, and guess what? Right after it threw out a spike for me. Nice, delicate flower, very gentle on a touch. I have, I think, 3 fans, and so it's blooming from the first larger fan, and there is something going on the second fan, and it has a smaller one as well. Leaves are variegated and purple on the backside and very stiff, like just like to touch leaves itself. Beautiful, beautiful plant. I'm glad I got it. It reminds me actually about my Phragmipedium I have. Phragmipedium schlimii. It bloomed for me last month, and flower looked exactly like this one but was a little bit smaller. Next orchid in bloom, Phragmipedium Indian Fire. I don't know. Watching Ed's Orchids channel, I see he's blooming from all the flowers open the same time. See, this flower was open a month ago. I filmed it in August. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 7 flowers, but they open one after another. Is there any trick to make them bloom all at the same time? I give it enough water. Actually, it's sitting in a saucer with the water and it gets like a bright shade while it's blooming. See, the buds are ready to open, but they're not opening the same time. This second flower going out of bloom, and you can see it's getting wrinkly already with a spot on it, but I still like that red and yellow together. Ascacinda and Neophinitia yellow hybrid is going out of bloom. That's its last flower. Who knows when it's gonna bloom again, maybe next year, but I showed the full bloom. And my only blooming Phalaenopsis I call it pink cloud. It's blooming more than a year. For me, the only reason it's blooming so long because I did not cut its spike after it got blooming. Its spike was in a hurry to branch out and I could not cut it off. Usually I cut spikes on my Phalaenopsis right after they done blooming because I like them blooming all together in spring. All 40 or 50 I have, I don't even count no more. But so this is the only blooming big Phalaenopsis for the moment. And the last but not least blooming orchid in September, guess what? It's this one, which won't even fit in a camera screen. So I put it down on the floor because the spike is 3 foot long. Seriously. And the flower got actually open 3 weeks ago. I am impressed because I read the flowers stay open about 2 to 4 weeks, and see, actually there is a new growth is forming its next bulb, so kind of like going strong. So flowers usually open from 2 to 4 weeks, and looks like this one even getting out of bloom. I think it can handle a 4th week as well, so not too bad for the first time bloomer. Psychopsis Mendenhall Hildes, and see here it's a next flower forming already. There is another Psychopsis looking exactly like that, and they call it Mariposa. So mine is Mendenhall Hildes. So you know guys how I like puffs and frags, but guess what? Orchid of the month, my king of the orchids, is going to be this Psychopsis. She is a first time bloomer. She is just nice looking plant and just drop that gorgeous butterfly. My king orchid of the month of September. Isn't she pretty? Or he? So queen of the month is going to be my zyga. Sweet jade, sweet shining. Not a first time bloomer, but first time bloomer for me. And I am proud I got her to bloom. The queen of September, sweet shining. And a little prince, this little miniature Phalaenopsis, no idea. I cannot miss out on him. And another little prince, that species Phalaenopsis dillanatii. I wish I can deliver to you how delicate and gentle the flower is. That's about all about my blooming plants in September. Thank you guys for watching. See you until next time, and happy blooming everybody. Bye bye.